I'm really excited about our next conversation. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Cash James. He is a senior in high school at Columbia Academy. He's a football player, a baseball player, a student, and absolutely has his entire future just laid right out in front of him. Cash, thanks so much for some of your time this morning.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So last Thursday, 6 days ago, when we were starting to kind of unpack the Charlie Kirk story, and we were doing so on the anniversary of the September 11th attacks on the United States, I mentioned that the first text message I got was from a friend who stays up to date with news and politics, and the second message that I got was from my daughter, who's a 10th grader at Oxford High School, asking me about what was going on with Charlie Kirk. That was actually on Wednesday when that message came from her. And I was struck by the fact that we know a lot about Charlie Kirk and we see him on college campuses, but apparently his impact was far greater with high school students as well. I'm curious, your perspective. What did you know about Charlie Kirk? How closely did you follow him? What were your friends saying? Not just at the very end of his life, but kind of in the maybe weeks or months leading up to that.
Yeah, I think as a teenager, the social media thing is huge, and I think that him having such a big platform on there, we got to see him a lot and see what he was doing, and I think people my age, in a way, loved it because he was a voice for things we believed in, and he was such a bold voice in that, and he wasn't afraid of confrontational conversations, and it was like he was always winning. It was like the good guy was always winning. I think from that standpoint, we all loved him for that.
What about Charlie's message resonated with you and some of your friends?
From a political side, last year we had the election, and I actually was taking a government class during that, and I think from a political side that he cleared messages up for people better. I think he explained stuff better, and that his message from his political beliefs he broke it down for people, I feel like. And then from a spiritual side, he was awesome when it comes to that. I think he brought a lot of people to the Lord. He helped me a lot in my walk, and I believe he did so with others my age too, in a sense of he told us in a way that we're not living right. We can't be living a double life. We can't be serving two lords. And I think he broke that down very well for us.
I'm just going to be honest with you. With your answer to that, I had some chill bumps that popped up. I've got three kids. I've got a 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter. And we practice faith in our family, and we go to church, and we are spiritual people, or try to be. And one of the biggest things for me as a parent is I want to raise them in a way where they know Jesus and they understand the sacrifice that was made for us. But it's also one of the biggest concerns as a parent. And I kind of think about where you are from an age standpoint as a senior in high school. And it's an incredibly impressionable age, but it's also an age where you start to really ask questions and kind of dig a little bit deeper. Did some of the things that Charlie Kirk said about faith and spirituality and how to live that you just pointed to a second ago, did it answer questions? Did it make you ask more questions and maybe dig deeper than you would have previously or otherwise?
Absolutely. I think that especially growing up in the South, the Bible Belt, there's churches on every corner of every street, and it's kind of just like a lot of people kind of breeze by, and it's like, Sundays, we go to church on Sundays and Wednesday night church, and then we do our own thing the rest of the week. And I think Charlie did a great job of influencing people to dig deeper on your own time. Like, there's so much more to it than just going to church on Sunday or going on Wednesday night service. He wanted to bring people to the Lord and teach them about the Holy Spirit. And I think from a standpoint in that way that he did so very well.
It was interesting to me as there have been so many clips of different debates that he's had and different conversations that he's had with college students on college campuses, and there was one that resonated where there was a young man who was asking about faith and growing and studying, and he's like, "What should I do?" And Charlie was like, "Read your Bible every single day." And I was like, "Man, that's pretty simple, but it's also pretty profound, and it's advice that I need. It's advice that my kids need, and yet really, really simple."
Yeah, I think that's huge, and I think he influenced me that way too. Is like I was one of those that was just kind of cruising by, read my Bible here and there. I'd go on a little streak where I'd read it every day, and then I wouldn't open it till Sunday. And after seeing clips, and especially I feel like around the election last year when his videos were popping up more and more on your social media feed, that not only was he preaching with the politics thing, but he was bringing his religion into that. He's bringing Christianity in that. And I think seeing that, it was like, okay, I do need to be reading my Bible every day. I need to have a true relationship with the Lord and be walking with him, not just on Sundays and Wednesdays.
We're visiting with Cash James. He is a high school senior at Columbia Academy. He plays football. He plays baseball. He's involved at school. And we appreciate his teachers and the principals there giving him a little bit of a hall pass this morning to spend a few minutes with you. Cash, this is a perspective that I've been really interested in, and I really do appreciate your time this morning. One of the things that we were talking about earlier today is what's next. So Charlie Kirk built this following, and I feel like he built credibility with young people. And there's the question of, okay, well, who fills in, who slides into the spot that was occupied by Charlie Kirk? And you see political influencers on the right that are young and old or whatever that look like maybe they're kind of positioning for that. So with you, with your friends, is that something that you guys talk about? I mean, is there like a new person that you will look to? And is this a movement that can continue where it's, kind of conservative political ideology mixed with a heavy, heavy dose of spiritual conversation? Is there somebody that can replace Charlie Kirk?
I definitely think that his legacy and everything will never end. I believe that his beliefs will stand, but Charlie, I feel like is irreplaceable. I feel like he's a one of one, and what he was doing, that was his calling on his life, and he took it very serious, and he did a very good job at it. And I've seen videos of interviews of people asking, would you be willing to? Would you be willing to? And I think they all have the same answers. Charlie's he's irreplaceable. I think that question is, the $1 million question right now, but I believe that's in God's hands. I believe that whoever is going to take over and whoever is going to fill that role, I believe that God's going to put the right person in that spot, and that we'll just go from there and trust his plan on this.
It's so fascinating to me is you were an athlete in high school, and how many times have you heard a coach say, the team is bigger than any one person? And I can't help but hope and, wonder if maybe that's where we should be looking in this going forward is, okay, maybe you had a superstar on the team that is no longer able to play, but if everybody kind of pulls their weight, then it works out, and you don't have to have just one guy as the leader of a movement, if you will. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, I could, I was actually watching a service yesterday, and I forget the name of the church, but the pastor was on stage, and he was saying that basically kind of how you just said is this is going to be a team thing from this point on. It's going to take more than one guy. It's going to take Christians being bold in their faith and not afraid to go out to college campuses or go out to a high school campus or just a crowd of people in public and, being bold in their faith and expressing their political views with their spirituality.
Cash, we have spent 10 minutes together, and that's not enough to get to know somebody, but it is abundantly clear that your future is very, very bright. I wish you success on the football field, on the baseball diamond, in the classroom, and in whatever direction you go after this. And can't tell you how much I appreciate you spending some time with us and sharing some of your thoughts and maybe the thoughts of your friends and people just like you. Thanks so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Cash James, senior at Columbia Academy. And what a great conversation and what a perspective. Appreciate Cash spending a few minutes with us. Make sure that he doesn't get a tardy, please, Columbia Academy. We very much appreciate the time. We're back with you right after this.